The night I met Noah Moretti, he looked straight at me and said, "If my father doesn't find me first, the wrong men will." I should have kept walking. It was past midnight, rain sliding down the diner windows in silver lines, my sneakers soaked through, my apron still smelling like coffee and sugar. But the little boy standing under the broken bus stop light didn't look lost in the normal way. His coat was too expensive for this part of Brooklyn. His small hands were steady. His green eyes were not. When I knelt beside him, he whispered, "Please don't let the black SUV see me first." I took his hand before I could talk myself out of it. It was cold from the rain, small but tense, like he was forcing himself not to shake. I led him inside the diner on the corner, where the neon sign buzzed and the smell of bacon grease and burnt coffee wrapped around us like something almost safe. I ordered hot chocolate and a grilled cheese with the last $12 in my wallet. Noah did not touch the food right away. He kept watching the window. Then he leaned closer and whispered, "If they ask, do not tell them my last name. My father says names can start wars." The bell above the diner door rang once, soft and harmless, but every muscle in Noah's body locked. I turned and saw 3 men step in from the rain, dark coats, polished shoes, the kind of quiet that made the whole room feel smaller. Then someone else entered behind them, taller than the rest, his black wool coat still damp at the shoulders, his presence so controlled it felt heavier than noise. He did not scan the room. He looked straight at the boy beside me. Noah slid off the booth and whispered, "That is my father." The man's pale eyes lifted to mine, and the air changed. He said nothing at first. He only crossed the diner in slow, measured steps while Noah ran to him and wrapped both arms around his waist. The man rested one hand on the back of the boy's head, eyes still fixed on me with a calm that felt sharper than anger. "You stayed with him," he said, his voice low and precise. I nodded, suddenly aware of my wet sleeves, my cheap uniform, the untouched hot chocolate between us. One of the waitresses near the counter went pale. Another whispered a name I had heard only in rumors, Adrian Moretti. And just like that, my ordinary night was over. I should have walked away then, taken my coat, and pretended none of this had happened. Instead, I stood there while Adrian Moretti reached into his pocket and placed a black business card beside Noah's plate. No logo, no address, just a name, a phone number, and the kind of silence money could not buy. "You did me a kindness tonight, Claire Bennett," he said, and my stomach dropped because I had never told him my name. Noah looked up at me with sleepy trust, his small hand still clutching my sleeve. Adrian noticed. "Go home," he said softly. "My world has already seen your face." I threw the card away before I even reached my apartment, but by morning, my life was already bending around him. The landlord who had ignored my broken heater for 3 weeks showed up with a repairman at 8 sharp. My manager, who had cut my hours twice this month, suddenly offered me a better shift and called me dependable like it was a new discovery. By noon, a fresh bouquet of white roses sat at the diner hostess stand with no note, only a small silver tag that read, "For your kindness." I should have felt grateful. Instead, I kept thinking about Adrian's voice and the warning hidden inside it. That evening, the rain came back harder, turning the sidewalks to mirrors and every passing headlight into a warning. I was locking the diner when I noticed the same black sedan parked across the street for the 3rd time that day. It was not moving. It was waiting. My pulse turned thin and cold. I walked faster, keys pressed between my fingers, my breath clouding the air. Then a small voice called my name. I turned and saw Noah standing beneath the awning of the pharmacy next door, his hood soaked through, one bodyguard several steps behind him. "I told them I wanted to thank you," he said. My father was not happy. Before I could answer, headlights washed across the sidewalk and a black SUV pulled to the curb with the kind of precision that did not invite questions. Adrian stepped out without an umbrella, rain catching in his dark hair, his coat open at the throat like he had left in a hurry. His gaze went first to Noah, then to me, then to the sedan across the street. Something unreadable passed over his face. "Get in," he said. Not loud, not harsh, just certain. I should have refused. Instead, I looked at Noah's rain-soaked face, at the waiting car across the street, and realized safety had started to sound exactly like his voice. The leather seats were still warm when the door closed behind me, sealing out the rain and whatever life I had been living an hour earlier. Noah curled against the window, suddenly quiet, while Adrian sat across from us in the dim glow of the city lights sliding over his face. "You should stay away from my son," I whispered, though it came out weaker than I meant. His eyes held mine without blinking. "You already did the opposite," he said. Then he glanced toward the dark street outside and added, softer this time, "Claire, from this moment on, walking away from me will not make you safer. It will only make you farther from my protection." On a rain-soaked Brooklyn night, a struggling waitress helps a lost child find safety, only to discover his father is the most feared mafia boss in the city. What begins as one act of kindness turns into a dark romance charged with danger, quiet obsession, and impossible protection. As the waitress is pulled deeper into a world of black SUVs, silent bodyguards, and whispered warnings, the mafia boss watches her with the kind of focus that changes everything. Their connection grows through fear, tenderness, and the child who links their two worlds. This dark romance blends cinematic tension, emotional vulnerability, and powerful chemistry without losing its human heart. For fans of possessive heroes, protective devotion, and fate-driven storytelling, this dark romance delivers suspense, longing, and unforgettable atmosphere. A gripping dark romance with emotional stakes and a haunting edge, this dark romance leaves safety and love impossible to separate. Character 1. A 24-year-old white American waitress, front-facing, soft green eyes, light brown hair in a simple ponytail, rain-damp black diner uniform. Makeup, tired but kind expression, cinematic realism, urban night mood. No cartoon, no CGI, no illustration. Character 2. A 32-year-old white Italian-American mafia boss, front-facing, pale blue eyes, sharp jawline, dark, slicked back hair, composed expression, tailored black wool coat over dark suit, intimidating elegance, cinematic realism. No cartoon, no CGI, no illustration. 3. A luxurious Manhattan high-rise office at night, introducing Character 2 in his daily world of control, wealth, and silence, while Character 1 is still present in a natural cinematic way that supports continuity. No cartoon, no CGI, no illustration, realistic live-action visual language. Character 2 stands near a floor-to-ceiling glass wall overlooking wet city streets and blurred red taillights below, front-facing but slightly turned, pale blue eyes steady, dark slicked-back hair immaculate, sharp jawline, tailored charcoal suit, black wool coat draped across a chair, one hand resting on a polished desk beside a crystal glass and a silent phone. His expression is composed, powerful, and emotionally guarded, the kind of man who never raises his voice because he does not need to. Character 1 appears subtly in the scene through an object that suggests growing obsession without explicit text, such as her small reflection in a framed security monitor on the desk, or a rain-lit memory-like reflection in the window, identifiable by her ponytail, diner uniform, and gentle face. The office includes dark wood, city reflections, muted gold lamps, bodyguards blurred near the doorway, and restrained luxury. The atmosphere is cold, elegant, and tense, showing the emotional divide between his powerful world and her ordinary life. High realism, cinematic shadows, rich textures, sophisticated framing, no cartoon, emotionally charged restraint, believable American urban setting. 1. 2.